Chapter 35 The Dependency Culture. A quote by Lucius Seneca. A wise man escapes necessity because he wills what necessity is going to force on him. Today, I feel loved and have self-esteem. It would be disingenuous to say that those things came to me without effort. It took years of mistakes and crying before I understood how to meet those needs for myself. When I was a kid, I needed people to love me. If people didn't love me, I felt terrible. I felt despair. I would wrestle with this for 2 decades. Then I found a solution. You just love yourself. Look up a guy named Kamal Ravikant. He wrote a book called Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. This guy thought he was going to die. He was sick and stressed. His company was faltering. Out of nowhere, he decided to just say the phrase, "I love myself," over and over again. He started to heal. He started to feel better emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically. A few years ago, I had hit my limit with not being loved. I thought I was going to die. I heard of Ravikant's strategy. I know it sounds stupid. There's no way this would work. I tried it. I just started repeating the phrase over and over again. I've never felt that bad since then. I've only felt better. Why did it work? How did it work? I don't know. Maybe it was the placebo effect. Maybe it was me willing the universe to come to my aid. Maybe it was me finally loving myself for the first time. I'm starting to think it's the last one, because I never had a problem with feeling loved since then. Even if I got close to feeling bad about it, I started telling myself that I love myself over and over again. It works. Now I don't need to say it anymore. I just feel this abundance inside of me. I hope that works for you. It sounds too good to be true. I hope it works for everyone. Thank you, Kamal Ravikant. Thank you for sharing your story. Here is how self-esteem works. Someone will always be better than you. Even a billionaire can feel terrible when he compares himself to people who are richer than him. You work with what you have. That's all. If you know you are doing your best, then nothing else matters. Meeting your need for self-esteem works just like self-love does. When you rely on others to always lift you up for your accomplishments, you will find that you are a slave to what they perceive to be success. You get taken out of the equation. You have to develop your own standards for success. Sometimes you have to lose in someone else's game to win in your own. Don't outsource your self-esteem. Independence was the answer for me. I am able to meet my own emotional needs now. Occasionally, I do get tricked. I stay out too long. I hang out with the wrong crowd. But if that was the answer, why did I start out in the opposite end of the spectrum? Why did I go years in ignorance of this solution? I listened to a lot of country music growing up. It wasn't by choice. It just so happened to be on the radio when I was in the car with my parents. I don't know the real numbers on this, but it seemed like almost every song had this theme of, "I can't go on living without you. Please, baby, you complete me. Don't leave me." Then I saw it in the movies. Disney told me that girls needed to be rescued, and after I rescued them, they would love me. They needed me. I needed them. We live in a culture that teaches us to depend on each other for our emotional stability. I don't know why it's like this. I didn't make the rules. I just showed up one day and took everyone's word at face value. I tried to apply what I saw in the media in real life. I failed miserably. I smelled of weakness and desperation. In high school, I used to get upset about how girls always dated jerks. I realize now it wasn't their jerkiness that appealed to girls. It was their lack of dependence on the girl. I don't know how conscious girls were of this. I wasn't aware of this at the time. But the jerks weren't afraid to be a jerk. The girl left me? So what? I don't need her. I did need her. I was dependent. That made me unappealing. Even when I went to church, there was this hymn. I can't even walk without holding his hand. I was walking just fine. Was I supposed to be weaker than I was? Was it a sin to be an independent walker? What's going on? Our culture is sedated with dependent values. We are drowning in it. I want you to learn how to swim. One thing our culture does seem to be pro-independent about is the idea of meeting your most basic needs for food and shelter. We get that part. Now, if I won the lottery tomorrow, I would still depend on the technical expertise of others to make my computers and grow my vegetables. I don't know how to do those things. But the idea of developing skills that have value to others and then using those skills in exchange for my computers and vegetables is a well-established value within our culture. I've said it before. We are babies when it comes to being conscious. It appears that we are just taking baby steps towards the idea of independence. I want to make this idea clear. When we develop our own skills and exchange our goods and services with someone else, we are exercising what is called interdependence. No one had to develop my skills for me. I did that on my own. I didn't have to go teach the farmer how to farm vegetables either. When we take our independent abilities and cooperate with each other, we start to do amazing things as a species. What if the same idea applies to independently developing our own emotional, mental, and spiritual strength?